Academic 5.6 notes lecture. Cool. See where my Apple Pencil, how much battery my Apple Pencil does. 70% already. Wow, that's fast.
But you're draining your Apple battery to charge your pencil.
Okay. All right, so we're going to factor trinomials of these two forms. Trinomials of these two forms. Okay. What's the difference between these two forms? So this is an lead coefficient of 1, which makes it really easy. This is a lead coefficient of not 1, which makes it really hard. Okay. Maybe not hard, but tedious. Yeah, so we'll start out with factoring trinomials. With lead coefficient 1, which is not too bad at all. Okay. Part A, what do I do first? What do I do first for part A?
Check the GCF.
Yes, good. Thank you, Joey. I just want to stop. Round of applause for Joey. Whatever I can do. There you go. All right, good job. All right. Yeah, parents did something right. Okay. Yeah. Are there any GCFs? Any GCFs? No. Okay. Not seen any GCFs. No. So then we do what? Anyone remember this from Algebra 1? The first step. The first step is to draw two pairs of parentheses. And put an X in the front of each of them. Okay, let's do that. 1, 2. Put an X in the front. All right, that's the first step. Draw two pairs of parentheses, put an X in the front of each of them. Cool. All right, done with step 1. Cool. All right, second step. Okay. Second step is, I'll highlight this in orange. Look at the second sign. Look at the second sign, okay? If it's negative, if it's a minus, right? Give one, how do I want to say this? Give one parenthesis a plus sign and the other a minus.
Did I say second?
Yeah. Sorry. All right. If it's a plus, you have to look at the first sign. Okay, then if that's negative, we're going to both get negative, both get negatives, both get minuses. If it's positive, this first sign's positive, both are going to get positives. It's a little flow chart for you. Okay, let's write that down somewhere. Probably should have done it over in the column here. So here, looking at that orange sign, the second one, is that a positive or a negative? Positive, right? So I've got to come down to B here. I got to look at what now? Since this orange one is positive, I have to look at what? The blue one. The blue one. Is the blue one positive or negative? It's positive, right? And this says if plus, both get pluses. Okay, so I'm going to put plus here and a plus there, okay? All right. Okay. What do I write then? I have 2 blank spaces here. What do I write? 2? And both of them? Yeah, so here's what I do. In the spaces, I write factors of the constant term that add up to what I want to say. They add up to the coefficient of the x term. Okay, so here's my constant term here. I'm going to erase. Here's my constant term. Here's my x coefficient of my x term, okay? So I want to write in here 2 factors of 2 that add up to 3. What are those? 2 and 1, yeah. So I write a 2 and 1, a 1 and the other. Okay. Factoring just takes practice, okay? And then what are the 2 things? How do I check to make sure I got my answer right? Yeah, so I want to make sure I'm factored all the way. Are there any more GCFs I can pull out? Any difference of squares anywhere? No, so I'm going to FOIL to make sure I get the original problem back. So first, outer, inner, last. There we go. So this is my right answer. Highlight it. That's my answer right there. Because I FOILed, I got the original problem back. Okay. Yo, factoring takes critical thought. It requires critical reasoning skills. Okay. We want to try to develop those. Okay, B. What's my first step? Mason, what's my first step?
Your first step would be to try to find the GCF, but there is none.
Yes, there isn't one. So what do I do?
So then you would put 2 parentheses down, and then you put an x in front of both of them.
Yes. And I look at what?
And then you look at the last sign, and since it's positive, you look at the first
Gotta look
sign.
at the first one. So look at the first one. The first one's positive. So what do I get?
You would get 2 plus
2
signs.
plus signs. Cool. Then I do what in the spaces?
And then you would get
2 factors of what that add up to what?
you'd get 2 factors of 8 that add up to 6.
What's that?
So then 4 and 2.
Yeah, jump. Yep. So 4 and 2. Done.
Let's go.
Donezo. And I can FOIL out to make sure you didn't do anything wrong. Cool, I didn't do anything wrong. So this is the right answer. Good job. Also make sure you FOIL all the way what you did. So. C. Quinn Daly.
Yes.
What do we do? What do we do first?
Find the GCF.
Any GCS?
No.
All right, what do we do now?
The last sign's positive, so.
Yes, your 2 pairs of parentheses right next. The last sign's positive, so we look at what?
The
First sign. What do we do if the first sign's negative?
They both get negative.
Both get negatives. Yep. Full flow charts. Good job. Good job. Good job. And then we do what?
These 2 and 4 again.
Yeah. So 2 factors of 8 that add up to 6. 4 and 2. Right. And then we could. We factored all the way right. No more GCFs anywhere. We don't see any. No difference of squares. So, and we can FOIL back out to make sure we got the right answer, but we'll skip that for the sake of brevity. Because there's a ton of examples on this, actually. I want to make sure I get through all All right, D. What's the first thing I check for, Sophia?
GCF.
Any GCF? All right, what do I do now?
You do parentheses.
Yeah,
or
you
you check the second sign.
Yeah. Look at the second sign. It's what?
Negative.
So I do what?
Plus and then a
Do
negative.
a plus and a minus. And then what do I write here? So now I've got what I've got to do. I've got to do something a little different. When my signs are different, when it's a plus and a minus, I got to look for two factors of 2 whose difference is 1. I'm going to look for two factors of 2. There's a 1 here, right? I need two factors of 2. So when signs opposite need, we're going to need two factors of constant whose different. Now it's difference. Whose difference is coefficient of external. Okay. What's that?
1 and
2 and 1, yeah. Okay. 1 and 2, right? So that's my right answer, right? What I do wrong. So you got to look at 1 and 2, okay? Or my factors, okay? 2 is the bigger factor, right? Look at this middle sign here. I have to have when I do the difference, I have to have a positive left over, right? I have to have a positive bathroom. Yeah. I have to have a positive left over, right? So I'm going to put the bigger factor next to the plus sign, smaller factor next to the minus. And I look at that first sign. Right in the middle, it's positive in the middle, so I have to have a positive left over. So I put the bigger factor on the plus. Does that make sense? Yeah. And then I can let's FOIL that back out because that was a hard problem. So again, first, outer, inner, last. So that works. Factoring is difficult. It requires critical thought. E. We do E. And a sol.
Factor for, or do greatest common factor.
Yeah, can we find that?
No.
No, so what do we do?
So then you do x plus and parentheses and x
Good job.
minus.
Yep, and then I do what?
Then you find the what's it called?
Two factors of what? Yeah, so two factors of 2 whose difference is 1, 2 and 1. Where do I put the 2 and where do I put the 1? And why do I know?
The 2 next to the plus and the 1 next to the minus.
So look at the difference here now. So I want to have, look at that sign in the middle there. Do I want to have a negative left over when I?
Oh, the 1 next to the minus.
Good job. Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Multiplication of real numbers is commutative, so it's okay if we write it like that. The set of real numbers forms the abelian group under multiplication, so you can write it like that. All right, F. F. Let's do Quinn Hunt. F. What do I do?
Check for GCF.
Yeah, any GCF? Nah. So what do I do?
So parentheses x, plus.
One gets a plus, one gets a minus. Two factors of 10 whose difference is 3. What are the factors of 10? 1 times 10 is 10, and 2 times 5 is 10. So you have two pairs to choose from. 2 and 5, right? 5 minus 2 is 3, yeah. Do I put the 5 next to the negative or next to the positive? Do I put the bigger number in the negative part or the positive part? Why the negative? It's negative in the middle. It's negative in the middle here. I want to make sure I have a negative left over. Does that make sense? When I'm done foiling, I want to make sure I have a negative left over. Okay, how are we feeling? Are we feeling okay? This is hard. This is tough. This is one of the harder parts of algebra. Okay, and then I can FOIL back out, but we won't do that for the sake of brevity here. This one was some easier ones. Let's do another one. Let's do Mbonacue. Ooh. Okay, now wait, is this the whole thing? Oh yeah, Ian Bonacuse. Okay, never mind. Ian Bonacuse. G.
So I would have it x, maybe x.
What's he
plus
forgetting?
OGCF.
Well, the GCF's gonna be a lot easier if you pull the GCF.
2.
Yeah. It's gonna be a lot easier if you pull the GCF now. Now what do we do, Ian?
And then we do x plus parentheses and then x minus in parentheses.
Yeah, and I want to say one thing real quick. Make sure you pull this 2 down too, so you can keep 2 out front, and then keep going, Ian. Sorry.
And then maybe 12 or x plus 12 and x minus.
So we want 2 factors of 24, the constant term, whose difference, right? Whose difference is 2. What's that? 6 times 4. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 minus 4 is 2. It's going to be 6 and 4. How do I know where to put? Do I put the 6 next to the plus here or next to the minus? How do I know, Ian?
6 next to the plus.
Yeah, why is that? So when I FOIL back out, I want to have, I'm looking at this sign right here. I'm looking at this sign. I want to have a positive left over. So I put the bigger number next to the plus. All right, 1245. 1245.
The 2 doesn't attach to the other parentheses.
No, just the 1. If you put a 2, you put a 2 there and a 2 here, you have a 4. Don't have a 4, you don't have a 2. Pull that at 2.
Oh, so it only attaches to the first number. You wouldn't put like 2 parentheses. Like 2 and then a parenthesis and then another parenthesis.
I could do that. I could do that.
No, but like you put a parenthesis there and then a parenthesis at the very end.
What do you mean? I don't understand.
Like so, if you have the 2 and then you put the first parenthesis here, and then you put another parenthesis here, you wouldn't do it. Like
Oh, I could. I don't need to though.
It just doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't need to.
It's just trivial, like the x plus 1 or whatever.
Yeah, x times 1.
Whatever that one problem was last time.
I love my explanations. Instead of all real numbers, what was the Abelian group under multiplication?
What does that even mean?
So, a group is a special type. So you know what a set is? You know what a set is? Okay, a group is a special type of set that satisfies special properties. It has an identity element. Okay. So under multiplication, 1 is the identity element. Because if you multiply number by 1, you get yourself back. Oh my goodness, it's cold in here. Whew. Sheesh.
Yeah, why is it so cold?
really cold.
You have a sweatshirt?
Yeah,
Are you gonna put it on?
my metabolism will get my heart rate going up as far as lecture.
Nah, Joey. Shut up.
To the start. 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 To the start.
It's not Ed.
Oh, is that factoring by substitution? That's what that is. Factor each trinomial using the trial and check method. We're going to start on H in 1 minute.
That's the 3x, yeah.
In 1 minute.
Did you record this lecture?
It's recording right now.
Mr. Ashton,
No, because like I just.
I thought you didn't record the lecture.
I'm going to forget to do it. All right, 12:45. Sheldon Gatlin, do part H for me, please. Part H. What do I do first? GCF. What's my GCF here? 3. Has to pull out a 3. All right. Now what do I do? Okay, both get minuses. Both minuses. If they're the same sign, I do 2 factors of the constant that add up the x coefficient. So what do I need here, Sheldon? Yeah, so I need 2 factors of 6 that add up to, wait, to 1, right? Wait. Oh, is it plus? Oh, it's plus minus. Oh, sorry, it's a difference. You're right, I'm sorry. So we 2 factors of 6 that subtract to 1. 3 and 2. 3 and 2. Is the 3, do I put that next to the minus or the plus? Yeah, so I look at this sign right here, I know I've got to have a minus left over, so the bigger number goes next to the minus. Good job. All right, Tegan, hi.
For a common factor.
Yeah, there is none. Parentheses. Good job. That'll give me 17x, right? Is that factorable? Let me see if it's factorable. Yeah, so I need 2 factors of 16 to add up to 15, okay? So what are the factors of 16? It's going to be 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16, right? Do any of these 2 numbers add up to 15? Any pair? No, I don't think so. I don't think it's factorable. Yeah, it can't be factored. What do I write if a number can't be factored? What do I write? No, I don't write that. I'm going to write, you write prime. Can't be factored, you write prime. Has anyone ever taught you the discriminant trick? Anyone ever taught you about the discriminant? Okay, so here's a general form for a trinomial, a quadratic trinomial, okay? Calculate b squared minus 4ac. If that's a perfect square, then it's factorable. Else it's not. Otherwise it's not. So you can also check that. So if you try factoring it, you get stuck. Okay, there's going to be 2 reasons you're stuck. Either you're not good at factoring that problem, you just need to think harder, or it literally can't be factored. So if you get stuck, right, on something like I, and you're like, man, I just can't. I'm just really trying. I don't want to spend too much time on this problem. I don't want to run out of time, right? You can check, hey, let's do b squared. So here would be 15 squared minus 4 times 1 times 16. See if if you do that here, you get 161, which is not a perfect square. And you can rest assured, you can sleep well at night knowing, like, hey, I didn't make a mistake. It's not like I didn't know how to do that problem. It just can't be factored, okay? All right, sound good? No? Okay. B squared, yeah, b squared minus 4ac. That's the magic expression, where a is the number next to x squared, b is the number next to x, c is the constant. B squared minus 4ac. If it's a perfect square, it can be factored. If it's not a perfect square, it can't be factored, okay? So, yeah. If it can be factored and you're still stuck, you're just like, you're just struggling. You're just on the struggle bus, okay? So you got to keep thinking hard. Okay, Ella Brenton, can you do J for me? Good job. Yep. Okay. Let's look at our flow chart up here, okay? Look at the second sign. If the sign is negative, is it negative or positive, the second sign? It's positive. What does it say? If it's positive, look at the first sign. Is the first sign positive or negative? All right, it says if negative, both get into minus, okay? So both are going to get minuses. See that? Off the flow chart. Okay. All right, 2 factors of 8, that adds to 6. What's that? Yeah, 1, 2.
Does it matter what side you put it on? Since it doesn't work out.
Yeah, it only matters when it's different signs. It's a very good distinction to draw. What's that, Charlie Rodman? I see you over there. All right, what do we do first?
You find the greatest common factor.
Yeah, what's that?
X to x cubed.
Yeah, so 1 x cubed. That should be to the 1.
Yeah.
Okay, now what?
Then you would see what the second
Second sign, yeah, second sign is what?
is negative.
So what are my signs inside my parentheses?
They're going to be positive or negative positive.
Yeah, they're going to be different. It doesn't matter what order. They're going to be different. Yep, so then I want, that's a plus and a minus, so 2 factors of 5 whose difference is 4. You do the difference if the signs are different. Hey, that's a good way of remembering it. You do the difference if the signs are different. You do the sum if the signs are the same. Anyway, what are the 2 numbers here then?
Would be, so it's the difference, right?
Factors of 5 whose difference is 4.
5 more.
Yeah, good job. I don't know where to put the 5.
First,
Yeah, why the first one?
because it needs to have the difference.
Yeah, I got to get a positive left over, so the bigger number's got to go next to the positive. Good, and I can't factor anymore. If I FOIL this back out, I get my original problem back, so we're good to go. Cool. Can we move on to A? Factor each trinomial using the trial and check method. Whew. All right, brings back some memories I tried to block out of my mind. That's okay. All right, let's do Chris Collister. First step, what do I do? Pull out your GCFs, right? Any GCFs? Oh, no GCFs, and I still have, all right, the difference here, what's going on here? There's no GCFs, and I've got what in front of my squared term? Got a 4. That's not 1, it's not equal to 1, I got a 4 there. Oh no, it's not fun. All right, so this is going to be a little bit tougher than the problems we're doing above, right? When your lead coefficient ends up being 1, it's not too bad. Your lead coefficient's 4, it's just kind of a pain in the butt. All right, so let me teach you then how to do one of these, okay? So, all right, if the lead coefficient You guys know what I mean by lead coefficient? The number next to the square term. If that's not equal to 1, you need to do this. You write out factors of lead coefficient and the constant. Highlight that in orange and blue. Okay. So write out, okay. Check for your GCF, that's always the first step, because it's still always the first step, especially with these, right? Because in some of these problems, like such as G here, right? It looked like we'd have to do the trial and check method, but we didn't actually end up having to do it because we could pull out a 2. And then we had a 1 here, okay? So you still always check for the GCF. Then if your lead coefficient is still not 1, you have to write out all the factors of the lead coefficient and the constant. So it's going to be 1 times 4 and 2 times 2, right? Yeah, 1 times 4 and 2 times 2. Okay, good. Okay, and then let's write out all the factors of 9. It's 1 times 9 and 3 times 3. Okay, 1 times 9 and 3 times 3. Okay, now what we do is I draw my 2 sets of parentheses. Right? I put an x in the front, but I have to leave some space. I have to leave some space right here for a coefficient, for x to have a coefficient. Okay. Your sign is still the same. So what would the sign be here, Chris?
Positive.
Both positive, right? Yeah. The sign stuff you still do the same, okay? Okay. Okay, let me think of the best way to explain this, okay? Good. So before when we had a problem like this where both the signs were positive, we were looking for, let me highlight the number in the middle. We would look for 2 factors of the blue number whose sum was the green number, right? Now what we have to do, right? So, how do I explain this? Right? When we get the right answer to this, when we factor this correctly, right, and FOIL back out, we've got to get the original problem back, right? We've got to get the original problem back. Okay? I think it should be y, shouldn't it? Sorry, let me write y's here. Okay? When I FOIL this out, the outer terms and the inner terms added together has to be 12. Has to be 12, okay? So what you're going to do here, that has to be 12. That has to be 12, right? Outer product of the inner plus the product of the outer terms plus the product of the inner terms has to be 12 when I FOIL back out, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to pick 2 of your blue factors to put in the second spot. And you're going to pick 2 of your orange factors to put in the first spot. You have to do so in a way that when you do outer times outer and inner times inner and add it up, you have to get 12. You have to get 12, okay? So you just have to pick. You have to pick one at a time, okay? So this is what the trial and check is, okay? We're literally just going to go through. So start with your first set of factors, okay? 1 times 9, the outer is 9. 4 plus times 1, the inner is 4. 4 plus 9 is 13, so that's not going to work, okay? Let's try the second. So 1 and 4 and 3 and 3. 1 times 3 outer is 3. That's 3. 4 times 3 inner, that's 12. 12 plus 3 is 15. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. Okay. Okay, fine. Okay, so now let's go to the second line on the orange. Let's try these pair. 2 times 9 is 18, outer. Inner, 2 times 1 is 2. 18 plus 2 is 20. That's not going to work. It's not going to work, okay? All right, 2 times 3 is 6. Plus 2 times 3 is 6. 6 plus 6 is 12. That's going to work, okay? So these are the two pairs we want. I'm going to circle them in pink. These are the two pairs we want. You guys see why that works? Okay? When I multiply the outer numbers together and then multiply the inner numbers together and add them together, I get 12. Okay? Okay? So I put the blue numbers in the blue spaces. I put the orange numbers in the orange spaces. Okay. So my answer, I'm just going to copy it down, the exact same thing I have right here. My answer is 2y plus 3 times 2y plus 3. Okay, guys, really good idea here. Really good idea. You really need to check these, okay? First, outer plus 6y, inner plus 6y, last plus 9, 4y squared plus 12y plus 9. I get my original problem back, so that's good. So this is my final answer up here. Okay. All right, you guys see that? So it's not hard, but it's a pain in the butt. It's a pain in the butt, okay? It's like washing dishes or cleaning the bathroom. It's not hard, but it's a pain in the butt. Right? Mowing the lawn. That's another one. Okay. Who wants to do the next one? Molly Foods. You haven't done one, have you? All right.
Unfortunately,
Okay. No worries. No worries. Yeah, this is tough. This is tough. It's very, very understandable. You guys want, Joey, you want to do the second one?
Yeah.
All right. Or do you guys want me to do another one? I don't know, Joey. You chopping at the bit?
I'll try.
All right. Okay. So what do we check for first?
GCF.
Yeah, I don't have a GCF, right? So we have a GCF and right, a little bit of salt in the wound, right? We got a lead coefficient that's not 1. So what do I have to do?
Do the factors.
Got to write down all the factors.
1 times 8 and 4 times 2.
Write down the factors of the orange and the blue. Okay, that's going to be 1 times 8, 2 times 4, right? What about the blue?
1 times 9, 3 times 2.
Okay, 1 times 9, 3 times 3. Okay. Draw your parentheses. Right? Leave a little bit of room to the left of x. What are my signs? The signs are always the same. So what are the signs? I do the signs the same way.
So it'd be minus and plus? Or no, it'd be minus minus.
Both minus, yeah. Yep. All right. So I have 2 minuses. Right? I have 2 minuses. So I'm going to put 2 of the blue numbers here. I'll put 2 of the orange numbers here. Okay? Right? When I go to FOIL this back out, right, the outer times the outer plus the inner times the inner has to be 18, okay? So I start trial and erroring, right? So let's start with this first line of orange factors and the first line of blue. 1 times 9 is 9. 8 times 1 is 8. 9 plus 8 is 17. Close, but close only counts in horseshoes. All right, so that's not going to work. This pair is not going to work. So let's try the top orange and the bottom blue. 1 times 3 is 3. 8 times 3 is 24. 24 plus 1 is 25. Not even close, okay? Not even close. Dang, bummer. Okay, let's try this one. Second orange, first blue. Let's try that pair. 2 times 9 is 18. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 plus 18 is 22. Not going to work. No, sad face. Okay. All right, so let's try this pair, the second. Second orange and the second blue. 2 times 3 is 3. No, that's 6. Sorry. 2 times 3 is 6. 4 times 3 is 12. 6 plus 12 is 18. So these are my 2. Those pairs work. So let's circle those. Those are the pairs that work. Right, so I'm doing outer product plus inner product. Product of outer plus product of inner, okay? Whew. Okay. So put your oranges there. Put your blues in here. Okay. Make sure, what's the best way? You put it in the same order as you see them on this line here, I think. You put them in the same order as you see them. So I put my 2 first, my 4 second here I put my first three first, my second 3 second. That make sense? So I put the 2 here first, and then I put the 4 here. Let's FOIL this out and make sure I got the right answer. So first, outer, inner, last. There we go. Smiley face. So I have the right answer. Okay. Good job. Good job. I think I might do one more for you guys because these are kind of tough. So first I look at C. Okay, are there any common factors? No, there's not. Oh no, and the lead coefficient is not 1. Sad face. It's a little sad face there. All right, little sad face. Okay. So what do I do now? So I got to write down all the factors. 1 times 6 and 2 times 3. 6 is also the exact same factors. 1 times 6 and 2 times 3. Okay. Yeah. Put an X, right? Remember to leave some room to the left of X. And then my sign, I have a minus sign as my second sign, so one's going to get a plus, one's going to get a minus. Now, all right, now, okay, I've got to just try. Now when I do, right, when I FOIL these back out, the product of the outers minus the product of the inners, or I should say the product of the inners minus the product of the outers has to be 5, okay? So the 2 numbers I multiply in the middle, they're going to be a positive, right, because there's a plus here. This is going to be a positive number, right? That minus the product of the outers has to be 5, okay? So product of the inners minus the product of the outers has to be 5. I feel like we probably don't understand that. Why?
Is it just because there's a negative on the 6 or something?
Yeah, so
Like why is it that versus the A and B?
So, yeah, one's a plus, one's a minus, right? So up here, right, we said that we wanted the 2 factors of the blue number whose difference was the middle number, right? Now it's a similar line of reasoning, but because we have this 6 out front, we've got to take into account, when we FOIL back out, we have to take into account, like, these factors won't just be 1. Okay, so, like, when we do outer, right, when we FOIL back out, we'll get the first numbers, right? That'll give us 6x squared if we just pick one of these pairs, right? Okay, when we do the last, it'll give us the right constant back because we wrote out the factors of the blue number. When we do the outers, it's going to be a negative number, right? When we multiply the outer numbers together, that's going to be a negative. That negative number, right, when we multiply the inner numbers together, that's going to be a positive, okay? That when we go to combine our like terms when we're FOILing, I'm going to have to take this positive product of the inner numbers, subtract from it the negative product of the outer numbers, that has to give me 5. Okay, so the difference, right, the inners, product of the inner numbers minus the product of the outer numbers has to be 5. So let's try this, okay? So 1 and 6, and 1 and 6. So outer is going to be 6. The product of the inner numbers is 6. 6 minus 6 is 0, not going to give me what I want. Product of the outer numbers is 3. Product of the inner numbers is 12. 12 minus 3 is 9, not going to give me what I want. Let's try the second pair of orange factors. 2 times 6 is 12. 3 times 1 is 3. 12 minus 3 is 9, not going to give me what I want. Okay, what do I do when none of my factors work the first time? None of my pairs work, what do I do? I don't remember. They didn't work the first time. What I do is I flip them around. So I'm going to write this as 6 times 1 and 3 times 2. Okay, I'm going to try them in that order now. So I just flipped around. If none of the pairs work the first time, go around, I just flip it, only flip one side around. I flip one side around, right? So instead of 1 times 6, I have 6 times 1 now. Instead of 2 times 3, I have 3 times 2. Okay, let's try this. 6 times 6 is 36. And then 1 times 1 is 1. 1 minus 36 is negative 35. That's not going to work. Okay. Let's try this one. So 6 times 3, that's going to be negative 8. So 6 times 3 is 18. The outer, the inner, 1 times 2 is 2. 2 minus 18 is negative 16. That's not going to work. Okay. Okay, let's try this. Last ditch effort. 3 times 3 is 9. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 minus 9 is negative 5. We need to get positive 5. All right, I see the answer. I don't know how to explain it. So I think I flipped the wrong side. I'm sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. I think instead of flipping the orange, I was supposed to flip the blue. I'm so sorry. You have to flip this side. Flip the right side. Flip the right side. I'm so sorry. That's confusing. Flip the right side. If nothing works. Yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot that it mattered. So it'll be 6 times 1 and 3 times 2. Sweet. Okay. So now, this pair is going to work. Okay. Right? The product of the inner numbers is what? 3 times 3, right? That'll be 9. The product of the outer numbers is what? 4. 9 minus 4 is going to be 5, which is what I need to have here. Okay. So write 2. Wait, no. So 3 right here is an inner number, right? So the 3 has to be on the inside, so put it right here. This other 3 right here has to be on the inside, so put it right there. Right. Right, the blue numbers have to be here. The orange numbers have to be here. Okay. So then 2 needs to be on the outside, and then 2, this other 2 needs to be on the outside as well. That's my right answer right here. I can foil it back out. Yep. Class got a 115, right? Okay. We won't get all these done today. I think we'll just take another day to finish this. Part D. Okay. Hopefully this one will hopefully be a better example. Sorry about that. Okay. What do I check for first? What's the first step? GCF, right? Is there a GCF? No, so I'm going to draw my parentheses. All right, no, I'm going to do what? Then what's my next step? If there's no GCF and my lead coefficient is still not 1, what do I do? List all the factors of 7. Okay, that's just 7 times 1. And what about 20? It's going to be 1 times 20, 2 times 10, and 4 times 5, right? Right? Sweet. Okay, let's draw parentheses. Get X, leave a little bit of room. What's my sign? What are my signs going to be? One's going to be a plus and one's going to get a minus. Okay. Now when I do my outer and my inner and add them together, I need a negative or a positive left over. I need a negative to be left over, okay? Right? I need a negative to be left over, okay? So let's look at this. So we know that orange is going to go there, and orange is going to go here. Blue's going to go there, blue's going to go here, okay? So let's look at this, okay? So when I multiply my outer numbers together, I'm going to get a negative, right? Because there's a negative symbol here. When I multiply the outer numbers together, I'm going to get a negative, right? Something times x times negative something is going to be a negative, right? And then the inner numbers are going to be positive. So what I need to do here is the product of the outer numbers minus the product of the inner numbers needs to give me negative 31. Okay, does that make any sense? Okay, so let's try this. Let's try this one more example, okay? So 7 times 20 is 140 minus 1 times 1, that's 139, not even close. 7 times 10 is 70. Okay, that's not going to be close. Okay, 70 minus 2 is 68. 7 minus 5 is 35. 35 minus 4 is 31. Sweet, awesome. Right, so the product of these outer numbers, 7 and 5, 35, it's going to be 30, that's going to be 35. Okay, the outer, product of the outer. Right, the product of the inner numbers, 4 and 1. 1 times 4 is 4. 4, that's going to give me 31, which is what matches what I have here, okay? So these are the two pairs I want, okay? Right? Remember, make sure the 7, I'm going to put the 7 needs to be on the outside. It's an outer number, so it needs to go here. The 5 is an outer number, so it's going to go here in this blue spot. Then the blue inner, then the orange inner. Hey guys, no homework tonight, okay? Other than study for the quiz. Study for the quiz.